What's up, guys? It's the Pod Gods. I'm Primetime Poulton. With me, the main event, Phil McNulty. Phil, man, it's our AEW Revolution prediction show. How you doing, man?
Oh, I am doing so well. I'm so excited. Like I said before we came on the air, I think this is going to be pay-per-view of the year. They are promising a lot of surprises. AEW, when we doubt them, they deliver the most. And I want everybody who's joining us, whether you're on the Twitter sphere or YouTube or wherever you're watching or streaming the show, I want you to send us chats on who you think the mystery signing is going to be and who you think is going to be the mystery opponent in the ladder match.
Yeah, I've seen all sorts of speculation on Twitter and then the rest of the internet. It's going to be interesting. We're going to give our picks later. I have a few, but how has your day been? I'm already exhausted. It's only 5 o'clock.
You know what? It's been pretty good. Just got some last minute shopping in the this morning, so I have my soda's ready to go. I got my snacks ready to go. I've been using all day as a prep for this show. So I did all my running around yesterday. So today's been a nice day to sit down, just draw, and get caught up from work. So I'm looking forward in 2 hours for the show to kick off.
Yeah, I got up at 6 a.m. today. I went to the gym. Then I did a little grocery shopping. Worked on a couple writing projects, graveyard shift, and then that crazy writing gig that came my way that I was messaging you about earlier in the week.
I hear that that story is sort of close to a fever pitch.
You could say that.
It's a hot one.
Hey, we got Sean Arrett in the chat. Sean, thanks for joining us, even though you don't like wrestling, man.
I do not have Crohn's disease, but I did get a blood test on Wednesday, which will tell me if I do have celiac disease or if I'm lactose intolerant. So my true geekiness is now going through my body changes.
So after I did the two different writing jobs I was working on, I started to draw a cover for Bazooka Dog #1. Chase and I wrote the story for that. Renzo Rodriguez is doing the interior artwork, but Chase and I are going to do the cover. I'm going to pencil it. He's going to ink it. Fingers crossed, but I think it's going to turn out pretty good. He's got a steady hand for 10 years old.
Hey, let's roll with it. Go ahead, Chase. Rock it. Next, follow the fathers. Oh, I was just about to say follow your father's footsteps, and I've seen you've now the moral compass has now made it onto your tag.
Yeah, no, it's like pro wrestling. I'm trying to get Primetime Poulton over. The fans want moral compass.
You got to go with the gimmick that's hot.
Yeah, no, you got to give the people what they want. So where was I? Oh, I did the cover with Chase, and that's pretty much been my day. I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view. We're going to get in it. We're going to go match by match, give our predictions. It starts off at 7 with the buy-in. There's one match on that: Thunder Rosa and Riho versus Britt Baker and Reba. I have no interest in this.
It's a damned if they do, damned if they don't. Why you brought Riho back and had Nia Jax, my goodness, and Nyla Rose beat Rio and sort of beat Britt Baker up. I just don't understand this women's division. I definitely think Britt Baker needs a win here, just at least a visual victory, because it's gotten to the point where they're taking her gimmick and her heel turn for granted now, and she's not picking up those wins like she should. It's sort of WWE booking, and it's scaring me.
And Reba, I believe, is hurt, so Britt Baker gets to pick her replacement, right?
Who do you think it is?
Is it going to be a surprise, or is it going to be someone from the roster?
I'll throw out my guess. I will throw out someone from Impact. I'll go Kimberly. If they're gonna lose this match, I'm gonna think it'll be Kimberly, so she'll eat the pin since she is Impact, and that's how AEW rolls with Impact. Or it's Deonna Purrazzo, and that helps Britt Baker get her victory.
I would be fine with either of those. I have a feeling it's going to be someone like Nyla Rose or Penelope Ford or someone we've seen before.
Man, I just can't do it anymore with this women's division.
We got Eddie Winkler in the chat. What's up, Eddie? I will say this: the AEW's women division is the worst booked division. It has replaced the X division as the worst booked division because the X division's on the upward trend.
Who knew this weird shade of gray Trey Miguel would get me interested in the X division? Shows you how much Impact continues to use their talent to the best of their ability.
Yep. All right. Now for the main card, we have Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor versus the Best Man Miro and Kip Sabian. I'm going with Miro and Kip because we talk about bad booking. Orange Cassidy has been booked terrible ever since his feud with Chris Jericho. That guy was supposed to be one of your top stars, and he's just sort of now he's floundering at the bottom of the card.
He's fallen harder than Jericho did in that mimosa because it's one of those things. They take his gimmick for granted. He's almost the male equivalent of Britt Baker. So over, they feel like their record doesn't matter. This has got to. If I'm Miro, I'm wondering. Well, I'm not happy anymore that I got fired from the WWE because the guy he was feuding with is now WWE champion and Bobby Lashley, and he just did another wedding gimmick, and he's floundering at the bottom of the mid card. This has got to be a rise for Miro. He's got to go nuts. He's got to go crazy. He's got to get out of this with Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. But no, I'm going to pick Miro and Kip for the win, but I can see Trent being driven by his mom. Trent still maybe like in a sling or something, hits him with something, and we see Chuck Taylor get a victory. But I hope not. I hope it just Miro squashes probably Chucky T and let's get Miro to doing something else.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. One thing for certain, if someone gets pinned, it's going to be Chuck Taylor or Kip.
Yes.
Here's off the topic question: Are Lashley and Lana still married?
No, Lana actually got a bit of a face turn because Nia Jax kept putting her through announcer tables, and so she was going to get her shot, and then she was put through another one, and then she hasn't been seen since. So who knows? But I think even her career's been better in the WWE. At least she's getting storylines.
Oh no, yeah, I've been following it. Lana and the Glow Girl are are a tag team now, but I didn't know if they just abandoned that storyline like Jason Jordan was Kurt Angle's son or what.
Speaking of Kurt Angle, he's going to come up soon in this podcast.
Absolutely. Next up, big money match: Matt Hardy versus Hangman Page. Winner receives opponent's 2021 quarter one earnings. A lot at stake.
This is so good. This is one of those matches that when you pop money down and say I'm paying for this product, especially AEW, what they have going against them is the WWE network. And the fact that when you want to pay for these pay-per-views, it's going to cost you some money. It's not like back in the day where you would get the Rock sunglasses or a Triple H tank top and you got all the cool merch that they would give you for buying the pay-per-view. This is a $50. You got to get your money's worth. This is one of those matches that I feel is going to be worth the price of admission. I think Hangman Page is on a skyrocket to be the next megastar in professional wrestling. I think he's going the way. I think he's going to be the next Roman Reigns, if you will. If we had The Rock to John Cena to Roman Reigns, I think Hangman is it. I think he's going to transcend wrestling. That's why I think he's going to lose this match. And I'll tell you why. Because AEW does one thing better than anything. They love booking losses and what comes after those losses. If this is Hangman officially down on his luck, the thing that he needs to join the Dark Order, this is it. I think Private Party's going to come in. Someone's going to join with the Matt Hardy brand we don't expect. It'll set up the next feud for Hangman. So Matt Hardy can still be a carny that takes his money. And now Hangman's got to be fighting whoever Matt has signed on next. And I think this is going to be an epic storyline as we continue to build Hangman up for Kenny Omega. So I think this is where Hangman loses and we further that character.
I'm going to pick Hangman to win, just to be different. But who would have thought Big Money Matt being more entertaining this year than Broken Matt Hardy?
It's the broken gimmick. It has to have a lot of care taken to it. We saw what happens when Matt Hardy leaves Impact and he joined the WWE, and it just didn't continue right. And it started to get that magic when he first had it. But here's the thing: the broken gimmick thrives on indie events. The broken gimmick thrives on cinematic events, and the broken gimmick thrives on an audience. There's no audience to do that. You only get so much personnel with COVID, so now that whole cinematic aspect is probably not as in depth as he wanted to be. So I'm thinking this is the best change that Matt Hardy has made, and I can't believe it. So I love this. I love this gimmick more than the broken one, to be honest.
We got Mark Clark in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Mark. He says WWE Network is getting moved into the Peacock streaming services. Yeah, that's the big news. I'm
and it's
happy.
saving $5.
Yeah, it's going to be $4.99 now, and I'll have Saved by the Bell and WWE all in one place. What more could I ask for? All right, moving on. We have the Casino Tag Team Royale. So we got a ton of teams in this. I'm going to give you the rundown. We got Bear Country, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, Santana and Ortiz, The Butcher and Blade, Private Party, Top Flight, Pac and Phoenix, Five and Dime from Dark Order, Pretty Picture. Who are they? That's got to be Peter Avalon and someone, right?
Probably.
Matt and Mike Seidel, Jurassic Express, Varsity Blondes, Natural Nightmares, SCU, and Gun Club. A ton of teams in there. I think, to me, I think the team that's going to win this is Pac and Phoenix. They are like the two most legit guys in there.
I think the team that's going to win this did not even come from your mouth. I think this is the Good Brothers. I think they enter in now. I think they win it, and I think they help Omega later in the night. But I think this is why they're going to be in this match, because I think you're going to think, oh, they already wrestled, they're not coming back. But it also is going to show you this is what we're going to expect from that match, even if they don't come out. So now it's good twofold for that main event. It's good because you'll be expecting them to come out the entire time. So if they don't, and I think Omega is the foregone conclusion, the only match that really has a foregone conclusion of the night, it's either Omega wins by himself and he beats Moxley at his own game, or you know that they said, oh, well, here comes the Good Brothers, and you know it's just going to be entertaining either way. Maybe someone comes out for Moxley, or it's just officially writing him off for a while. So I think the Good Brothers, but if I had to pick a team, I would just pick Jurassic Express since they're still trying to build them up.
Yeah, so you're all on board for surprises tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of surprises, next up we have the Face of the Revolution ladder match: Cody Rhodes versus Penta El Zero versus Scorpio Sky versus Lance Archer versus Max Caster versus to be announced. I think you and I are on the same page who this guy's going to be. Our maybe the first 4 months of the LaPod Gods was this guy's fan club. It has to be Ethan Page.
If so, here's the deal. Kurt Angle released a video earlier, and I don't think they said Hall of Fame worthy. We know that he already is in the WWE Hall of Fame. So I originally thought Ethan Page because I just thought this is it. This is the spot. This is where we get all ego. But I think this is gonna be Kurt Angle's spot. I think he's gonna come in and is gonna. I think AEW is doing so. What they're doing is they're getting eyes on the product through older faces. People were so excited that they just hired the Big Show to be a commentator. Right, his T-shirt was getting chanted by fans. What AEW is doing is the anti WWE. They're bringing in veteran guys, Hall of Fame guys, people who wrestling fans who've loved every generation of wrestling can get onto the product, but by proxy latch onto one of these younger guys, right? We see Tully with FTR. We see Arn with Cody. We see Jake the Snake with Lance Archer. So we're getting these guys, who we have nostalgia for, and sort of starting with these younger guys. So I think it's going to be Kurt Angle to get more eyes on the product.
So you think Kurt's going to be the sixth man in the ladder match, but there's
Correct.
also another surprise that Paul White was talking about, a signee. They're two different. So you think there's going to be one more, someone even bigger than Angle?
Yes, and
Let's just talk about it now.
All right, I think we are gonna get CM Punk.
Wow.
I think this is it. The AEW is promising everything. If they get CM Punk, this would be the signing of all signings, because this is exactly what you need. If he's coming in and he wants a good storyline and he wants to wrestle some people, this is either he takes the belt off Moxley, or takes the belt off Omega, or he feuds with Omega just to help even elevate Omega more. Oh, it would be phenomenal. I would love to see. This is my fanboy coming out of me. I think, and I hope they finally deliver, because they always tease CM Punk. I hope this is it.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening. If anyone in the chat has a guess, tweet it. There's going to be a surprise in the ladder match, and then there's a surprise signing that Paul White had hinted at. I actually think, and I would love this, if it's Christian. He made his return at the Royal Rumble. He's cleared to wrestle now, but did he go over to AEW? Did they steal him away? That would be like the best, because Vince has never really had any interest in Christian. The rumor is that he thought, Christian was this ugly guy and didn't want his face on TV.
I believe that, because Christian always brings that up whenever he talks about it, so I think that is true. Man, I hope that it's Hall of Fame worthy. I mean, Kurt Angle, I feel, is coming in for a one shot losing in it, just to give a good, because he's been talking about how unhappy he's been, and Cody seems like the guy who's just going to bring you in to get a good send off. But what if you think it's a female? Have you thought about any female talent?
If they're Hall of Fame worthy, I don't know. I don't know who it could be.
No, I would.
AJ.
It would be funny if it was AJ Lee, but I don't know. But I'm excited for either way. And what's cool about it is, like, I've been looking on dirt sheets and nobody knows, and that's what makes this even better.
Yeah, fingers crossed for me that I'm hoping it's Christian. Christian's one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. When he was like the top guy in TNA with the Christian Coalition, with AJ as his goofy little sidekick, I absolutely loved that. That was the best time in TNA as far as I was concerned.
You know who I feel bad for, though? Lance Archer. This is another time Lance Archer will get hyped up just to lose a match.
Well, we haven't even decided who's winning this ladder match.
Oh, I don't know. Cody. I'll just say Cody. Why not?
I think Scorpio Sky was really pushing a heel type persona on commentary this week. So I could see him going against Darby Allin. and taking the L against Darby.
So someone needs to do is take that title off Darby, because I'm no longer interested in the TNT title or the
Yeah.
FTW championship. I just don't care.
Speaking of both, next up the street fight: Sting and TNT champion Darby Allin versus FTW champ Brian Cage and Ricky Starks with Taz. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing Sting. Do you think this is going to be kind of like the best friends Santana and Ortiz garage parking lot brawl?
I think you're gonna see a lot of camera tricks in here to get a 1-0 Sting on his record, because you don't want. You think about it. If the records matter for AEW, you can't have him every time come out go 0-1 on his record. He's the Stinger.
Plus, they've I think it was Jericho. He says that they treat their legends well. So Sting's not coming here to take a loss. He already did that with WWE a couple times. So Sting and Darby are winning this match. What I'm looking forward to is the performance of Ricky Starks, because this past week, Ricky Starks and Sting in the ring, I thought it was fantastic.
You know he's eating the pin on this one. You know
Oh
that
yeah,
it's gonna be
absolutely.
it's Ricky Starks eating the pin from Sting. So of course it's gonna be Sting Classic and Skateboard Sting for the win on this one.
All right, AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Young Bucks out to avenge Papa Buck against Chris Jericho and MJF. Who are you going with?
Sammy Guevara comes in and ruins this moment for Jericho and MJF. I think this leads to the inner circle being blown up. I think this leads to Double or Nothing, or whatever their next pay-per-view is, for MJF versus Sammy Guevara. There's no way the Bucks are losing this, because this is going to be where actually Impact makes their stand. I think it's going to be Guns and Gallows win the tag titles from the Bucks, and I think that's going to be the major shift for their product. Because if it's one thing Impact has done so well, is book the Good Brothers, and I think this is going to be further that Kenny Omega OG Bullet Club maybe sets up some New Japan stuff. But I think it's no one else but the Bucks in this match. You?
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks as well, and I was thinking Sammy would be the reason that MJF and Jericho lose. We got Todd's Truth in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Todd. He can't wait for this pay-per-view. Neither can we. Todd, if you're still there, let us know who you think the two surprises will be. Phil and I are split on it. I think Ethan Page in the ladder match. Phil thinks Kurt Angle, and then for the big surprise, Phil's great, going big. He thinks CM Punk. I think it's going to be Christian. We'll see. I did see. I think you mentioned it. Kurt Angle put out that video last night on Twitter, where he's just saying, the next chapter of his career. I think he did that for his podcast, though. I think he's trolling us.
Good on him, though.
Although everyone who Conrad Thompson does a podcast with seems to have gotten a big job somewhere. Tony Schiavone and JR were with AEW. Bruce Pritchard is running WWE now. Who else does he have?
Bischoff came in for a stint on. He comes back and forth for AEW just to troll Jericho.
Yeah, and Arn Anderson is now the coach for Cody Rhodes. So, yeah, it would make sense if Angle. I feel like Conrad Thompson is brokering more than mortgages in his spare time. I think he's brokering some wrestling deals. All right, Women's World Championship match, maybe the worst booked tournament ever. Hikaru Shida, the champion, is defending against Ryu Mizunami. This was terrible. This whole tournament.
What? Just what? I don't get it.
Yeah.
What? Is this what? I don't understand it. I've officially given up on this AEW women's division. I want them to just eliminate it and start up a trios tag team division, whether it be the Good Brothers and Omega, whether it be Silver Reynolds and Hangman get in there, whether it be the Gun Club go in there, Billy and his two sons, anything different, anything not AEW Women's Championship.
Since we're picking winners, I'm going with Sheeta to retain.
There we go, Sheeta.
Yeah. Yep. So Todd's truth. He would love to see Christian as one of the surprises. Main event time: exploding barbed wire death match. Kenny Omega defends the AEW World Title against Jon Moxley. This seems like it would be right up Jon Moxley's alley. But he's taking the loss tonight. We keep saying Moxley's going to take the loss. We thought, but they surprised us. We thought he was going to take the loss to Kenta in New Japan for the U.S. title. He's still the U.S. champion, but I don't think he's winning AEW World Title tonight.
They got to go with Kenny. They got to go with Kenny because he is doing everything to make this championship matter, even when it feels like this past month of AEW has been up and down. He's been one of the bright spots always about it. They need to continue pushing him as the champion. They need to push him further on this because his storyline was so hot that he was making the title hot. Well, AEW sort of heated up other storylines underneath, which they just do such a good job that, the Omega Moxley thing is almost gotten a bit repetitive now, whether it be, I always take a dump on Moxley's promos, but I'm going to take a dump on Kenny's vignettes now because we get it, right? we get it. Like, let's move on. Let's finish this because once again, bringing Moxley for another go at it feels like we're still stuck in the mud.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got Nino Season in the chat. Thanks for joining us. This is his first pay-per-view he's ever bought. He hopes it's a good one. Yeah, I think it will be. We're guaranteed at least 2 surprises. Now, if they don't deliver on those surprises, there's going to be a lot of angry fans out there because Tony Khan's been known to hype things up and not deliver, but I feel like lately he's been delivering.
This is going to be so much fun, this pay-per-view. I've just been like, I haven't been this excited for a pay-per-view in years, right? There's sort of like where there's a pay-per-view where there's a match and you're just like, oh yeah, I want to see Hangman and Omega fight the Bucks, but this is from top to finish is going to be lit, as my students would say.
All that in a ladder match. Yep. We all love ladder matches, man. They're exciting. That's another way. You were saying they'll bring Angle in for the ladder match. Christian's like the master of the ladder match, being involved in all those TLC matches. Maybe he's the surprise 6th man.
You're just like, strike that, reverse it, have Angle be the signee, and then have Christian be in the ladder match.
Eddie Winkler says, LOL, repetitive. Let me tell you about repetitive. Let me tell you about the best of 7 matches between Benoit and Booker T. That was repetitive. I loved the best of 7 between Benoit and Booker T. That was classic WCW Nitro. That is my all-time favorite wrestling show.
How about this, Eddie? The best of 7 we never asked for, given to us by Mick Foley with Cesaro and Sheamus. That was the best of 7 that I did not want to see. And then they became a bar out of it, but that was terrible. Agreed, Eddie.
Terrible, absolutely. I'll give the bar props, though. They were a pretty decent tag team once they bonded in that barroom brawl.
Yeah.
Cesaro finally getting a little bit of a mini push over on SmackDown, I see.
SmackDown is really good. I think actually it really suffers from the day it's on. I think Friday night really, even me, when I'm done the end of the work week, and having to watch wrestling Monday and then Tuesday and Wednesday, right? And then sometimes I don't watch it live, so I have to use Thursday and Friday to get caught up on it. By Friday night, I don't want to watch more wrestling. I'm so I'm so burnt out from it. So I think, but every time I do watch it, I go think, oh, that's a pretty darn good show.
Yeah, agreed. When I do watch it, I enjoy it. So there's a rumor NXT is moving to Tuesdays. We'll have a new Tuesday night war, Impact and NXT. I think NXT can win this one.
No, it's gonna be Impact because they own the night. Whoa, whoa.
Man, that song's fire. That gets me pumped up. You know what? NXT will win in the ratings, but Impact will have the best show every week.
That is true.
Eddie Winkler says WCW had the best stipulations. If X guy loses, he can never wrestle in Canada again. Yeah, there was a lot of craziness in WCW, especially when Vince Russo came in. Judy Bagwell on a pole match. Lance Storm won all the belts and then changed them to like the Saskatchewan hardcore title, and
World Heavyweight Champion David Arquette.
Yeah,
but
I
hey,
actually like that.
at least we remember it.
Yeah, no, I actually enjoyed that. I love Ready to Rumble. I bust that out maybe once a year on DVD and watch it. He has a great documentary out, David Arquette. It's David Arquette Will Not Die. Fantastic documentary about his love of pro wrestling and how, late in his life, he decided to train and become a pro wrestler just to put all the naysayers to rest.
You know what's really good? Dark Side of the Ring. Have you ever seen some of that on Vice TV?
Yeah, I've seen them all. I love it.
Oh, and I'm always loving when I learn things that, like, I was not interested in the one Italian wrestler in the WWF, and then I found out like he went missing and he was secretly in the mob the whole time he was working. I was
the
like,
Dino Bravo one. Yeah, that was great.
So that's why, and I think I love a good documentary, and you add professional wressling in there. Of course, I'm gonna enjoy it even more.
Sean says, what prop would you guys want to be knocked out by in a match?
Good question, Sean. I'll let you take it first, Primetime.
Have you ever been knocked out before, Phil?
No, I haven't. I've passed out, but I've never been knocked out.
I got knocked out in a baseball game, a little league game. I'm trying to score. The catcher catches the ball, and instead of tagging me, he punches me right in the head as I'm coming into home. Knocked me out. I woke up when my head hit the ground. Getting knocked out's not fun.
So that begs the question: what prop would you want to be knocked out by?
Definitely not a catcher's mitt, because that hurts.
You know what? I'd do it. I'd take it. Give me a steel chair shot. Give me a shot, just because that. At least I could say, it's the traditional weapon of choice.
Man, watching some of those Attitude Era chair shots today, kind of hard to watch. There's one where Stevie Richards gives JBL a chair shot, and it's basically a receipt for him beating up Blue Meanie at the One Night Only ECW pay-per-view. Oh my God, Stevie Richards lays it in. And then there's another time, the Hardy Boys, when Brock first makes his debut and he's wrecking everyone, he comes after the Hardy Boys and they're just laying it in with chairs on him, on like straight on top of the head. It's hard to watch. And of course, The Rock basically scrambling Mick Foley's brains.
What always makes me as uncomfortable is watching Chris Benoit take chair shots to the head, because you're like, each one was a step closer. Especially there were ones when he was tagging with Jericho and they were feuding against Triple H and Stone Cold, and Austin just absolutely crushes his cranium and it goes into his shoulders, and you're just like, oh.
Do you remember when Hogan came into TNA and they went head to head with WWE, and they were trying to build up Rob Terry, and Homicide gave him a chair shot? It was, and he took it right on the head, and it was brutal, but I'll admit it looked awesome, because the blood then started trickling down Rob Terry's face. I was like, I'm sold on this guy, but they never did anything with him after that.
Eddie, I love that comment from Eddie. The bell getting popped and having the bell go off on your head. That's a classic.
I forget. I think it was Stone Cold. He told a story once that he was wrestling Owen Hart, and Hart just kept trying to make him laugh. So he started hitting him with a bag of popcorn that he stole from a concession guy, and trying to act like it really hurt selling it and stuff. So I wouldn't mind getting hit with a big bag of popcorn. So that'll do it for AEW. If anyone in the chat has any more questions, I'd like to take a break for the wrestling talk for a minute and just talk about Sea Dog and Codename Killswitch. We just passed 15,000. We unlocked the Neon and Rebel swimsuit print for everyone. I'm going to show it to them, and we announced our next stretch goal. Let me show you that print first. So all backers are going to get this swimsuit edition print. Clint wrote the little dialogue up front. It says, "Do you think Crotch Rocket will get mad if I sit on his bike?" And Rebel's saying, "Keep holding that pose, and I think Crotch Rocket will let you sit on anything you like." So now that we reached 15,000, our next stretch goal is 23,000. That would put us past our first book campaign. And if we hit that, every backer gets Viking Wolf Ashcan, the first appearance of Viking Wolf. That's going to be my next book that I launch once Sea Dog goes to print. I'm so hyped for Viking Wolf. The artwork's fantastic. Matt Dalton and Renzo Rodriguez are doing the artwork. The book's actually, all the art's done, and Dexter Weeks has started coloring it last week. So that book's going to be phenomenal. Here's just a little peek of Viking Wolf. So all backers will get that, but only if we hit 23,000. I'm a big fan of ash cans. In the 90s, I made sure to pick up every ash can I could get my hands on. And now that I'm publishing my own stuff, I make sure to include ash cans. I've had a little Graveyard Shift one, a US Assassin 3. The last Sea Dog campaign had an ash can. They're lots of fun. And you never know. It could turn into the first appearance of a character that, there's a lot of popularity behind. I have big plans for Viking Wolf, but you have to back Sea Dog and get us to 23,000 for that to happen. Here's some of the artwork. Clint and Andrew Dahlhaus make a great team. Clint just has that awesome, I would say, like Wildstorm studio style art. I think his influencers are Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Travis Charest. This is page 1. Just looks awesome. Shows you where all the characters are at the beginning of the book. They all have like their own color scheme. It makes it really pop. This awesome team shot of Neon, Stormborn, and Tundra. Fan favorite Crotch Rocket squaring off against a new villain, Red Raven. We're traveling to Stormborn's homeworld, Tharoon, this time around. He's going to battle his brother, Dragonborn. Lots of fun, lots of world building. We introduce a new superhero team called the Animalers, and they sort of are very similar to Sea Dog. They all have, enchanted medallions, and we dive into more of Sea Dog's origin in this. Our big tier reward is the Babe box. It's a collector's box. I'll put myself solo format and show it off. Got the Babe box, Clint's artwork on the front, the logos on the sides. We got the magnetic closing, and inside will be 5 books. All 3 covers to book 1, both covers to book 2, sketches from me and Clint, trading cards, prints, ash can. It's going to be loaded. It's a great deal. Also, the Sea Dog pop socket's going to be in there. You're going to want to get it. It's the best value as far as I'm concerned. But that's it for Sea Dog. The link is in the description. If you haven't checked the book out yet, please do so. I'm passionate about all my projects. I feel like Sea Dog gets slept on a little bit. And it's just fantastic. It's just as good as any of my other books, Graveyard Shift, US Assassin, the upcoming Viking Wolf. Make sure you check it out. And I take myself out solo layout. And let's see. What do we got going on in the chat?
They want the ash can.
Sean Spears slamming Cody with a chair. Oh, yeah, that was brutal.
Todd.
Sean Spears is back.
Todd, that brings up a great point, because now it's got me thinking, who's going to be the fourth member of the Four Horsemen? Now that we've got FTR and Sean Spears officially looking like they're all part of the group, is it Tully going to be the fourth in the Four Horsemen, or do you think it's going to be another surprise?
Let's talk about that match. Tully is the biggest badass in wrestling as far as I'm concerned. He came out looking great. What is he, 67, I think they said? He looks fantastic. I love they all had the old school NWA belts with them. Tully brought JJ Dillon with him. It was fantastic. And Arn came out at the end and threw up the four fingers. If they do the Four Horsemen, Cody has to be involved in this, and it has to be fur coat wearing Cody with the motto, spend now, make more later.
Cody needs a revamp, especially if he's not winning this ladder match, then he needs to go with this. So needs to get the revamp, because where Cody can't be stuck in this Shaq feud any longer now, which honestly surprised the hell out of me. Over delivered in the best possible way.
Yeah, that match was way better than it had any business to be. Yeah, that was really enjoyable. Shout out to Shaq for going through two tables.
And shout out to Jade Cargill. That girl can go. She's only wrestled like 12 times or something like that. That's ridiculous how good. I love her. She plays off the crowd so well. If this were an Attitude Era, it's sort of like if Sable gave a damn. If Sable went out there and wrestled, it would be Jade Cargill.
Yeah, there you go. Todd says congratulations on the 15,000. Eddie Winkler wants that ash can. Sean wants the ash can. Mark Clark says not Ric Flair as far as the Four Horsemen goes. Yeah, Ric Flair was saying how did you see that Arn, Tully, Barry don't talk to him anymore? He hasn't heard from any of them. Arn does a podcast with Conrad Thompson, the Arn Show, and he said that like him and Rick had a falling out years ago because when Rick got one of his divorces, he told Arn that Arn's wife couldn't be friends with his ex-wife, and Arn was like, sorry, she's going to be friends with him, and Rick wrote him off. So now Rick's crying that Arn doesn't call him. Well, you shouldn't have written him off. Arn's only doing what you told him to do.
I don't know if Rick was trying to be the face in this or the heel. I don't know what's up, but I'm with Arn on this one. You can't tell. Yeah. You can't tell someone's a lady to be like, you can't talk to anybody. I would be thrown out on my ass at that point. Go, Arn.
Yeah, and if you're not allowed to talk to Ric Flair's ex-wives, that's like half the population, in the words of Scott Steiner, no sympathy. I have no sympathy for Ric Flair.
None at all.
Todd's Truth. Yes, Arn made me go, yes, I still have my Four Horsemen shirt. Yeah, that would be awesome if Tully and Arn are involved in a new Four Horsemen. Who is there anyone who would make it perfect besides Cody?
Nick Aldis.
He has that presentation. Yeah,
that's the only one who I'd want if it were a surprise. He'd be the only one I'd want it to be the surprise, because I feel like him being he just NWA. Has done so much for the NWA. He deserves to sort of have that legacy.
Yeah. Speaking of the NWA, that's coming back to YouTube Power. So I'm looking forward to that. That was a fun show. One of my favorite guys on NWA Power was the Question Mark, who unfortunately passed away, I guess a week ago. He was Josephus. Billy Corrigan tweeted that out, that Josephus passed away just in his early 40s. It's a shame, man. If you haven't seen him, Phil, when he was the Question Mark, he was teaming up with Aaron Stevens, who was Damian Sandow.
Oh.
And they were basically doing the Miz and Sandow gimmick, except Aaron Stevens is in the Miz role now, and Question Mark is the one getting all the fan love. But it was hilarious.
R.I.P. Question Mark.
All right. So we're at 45 minutes. Unless you have anything else to talk about, Phil, we're going to wrap this sucker up.
No, I cannot wait. Cannot wait to just get dinner, snacks, food, and just watch. It's very rare that I'm this hyped for a pay-per-view, and I'm just so excited. Thank you, AEW, for making me enjoy wrestling pay-per-views again.
What's your go-to pay-per-view meal?
Normally it's pizza, Hawaiian pizza, which people hate. I absolutely love Hawaiian pizza. But normally it's pizza and it's like chips and soda. But now I'm on a diet, so it's replaced with seltzer water, gummy candies that aren't gummy candies because they're not as fattening as salty foods, and whatever I got in the fridge.
Yeah, no, pepperoni pizza is my go-to, but my wife's cooking chicken tonight, so it's going to be chicken.
That's why I always like when we would get before COVID, when we broke quarantine in the summer. It's always LC's, Little Caesars, pepperoni pizza for prime time, Hawaiian for the main event, and then plenty of Pepsi to go round.
Eddie wants me to kick you for that Hawaiian pizza.
No, I'm pretty sure it's to kick him for the pepperoni.
No, definitely not. All right. Main event. Where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AnimatedPhil.
And are you going to be showing more Revengers artwork?
Yes, I will. My girlfriend's been on me about getting my artwork back on there. So she's like, get back doing it.
Absolutely, Mark. Boo this man. Boo him. Hawaiian pizza is
the full heel turn. You people are good enough for the Hawaiian pizza. The excellent bite of sweet and salty and saucy.
As the moral compass, I am so disappointed in you, Phil. but I knew you were a Hawaiian pizza guy for a long time. I let it slide. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Coney Waves. Make sure you subscribe to Primetime Poulton. Hit the notifications, and Phil and I will see you next week for more wrestling talk. Thanks for joining us, guys. This is taking